Fixtures are out. So join us as we officially start counting down to the 2025-2026 championship season with us at Blue Monday and Ipswich Town podcast. Well, David, good evening to you. A new season, Dave. New graphics on the intro. I don't know if you noticed that. Eagle-eyed.
Looking great.
Well, at least they're looking great, mate. Less said about you and I, but
obs. But
the graphics are looking good for the new season.
It's just you just mentioned at the start 25-26 season. How the hell has that happened, for God's sake? Just incredible. And yeah. I mean, now it starts again. It starts to get really up that little lull, don't you? Although we've had a slight earlier opening of the transfer window with a bit of certainly more outs than ins. Well, pretty much. Well, yes, certainly so. But it all starts to become a bit real again once the fixtures come out.
Yeah, that's right. And I suppose a little less fanfare, shall we say, than last season's fixture releases.
I think it's fair to say just a bit. I was having a conversation with someone earlier about our first two fixtures, and I said, "Well, it could be easier." And he said, "Well, yeah, I think what they were last season." I said, "Yeah, good point."
Yeah, quite. Yeah, and some familiar faces, but some one or two maybe not so familiar faces. But we'll have a little chat about those in a bit. Hello to everybody in the chat. Please do get your messages in and hellos and thoughts on what's going on in regards to the fixtures. Maybe any dark horses teams wise that you've taken your fancy. Also, it's a bit early, I suppose, Dave, because it's been a bit quiet on the transfer front, hasn't it? So, in terms of knowing who the favourites are and for both relegation and promotion, it's a bit tricky at the moment.
It has. I mean, for us, I know we covered it the other week. Obviously, sad to see Cameron Burgess go. Obviously, perhaps one that's in another outgoing in the pipeline, which I think we'll talk about afterwards. Really good bit of news this week. Dar O'Shea signing a five-year deal. That's good. I mean, I think he was touted as perhaps being, clubs looking at him. So that's a really good positive sign. But it'd be nice to see a few sort of new signings,
or even,
wouldn't it? But
even the rumour of a new signing.
It's just really quiet. I mean, really, really quiet. So, I'm sure they'll all come. It'll be one will sign and it'll be like buses as usually happens. But I mean, the rumour bill has been very, very quiet. I mean, I know obviously, the under 21s are going on at the moment. So perhaps and this ridiculous club World Cup, whatever it is going on in the States. So it's attention's being diverted somewhat by those two. But once they're up, you think it will start to really ramp up, and hopefully we'll see a few in sooner rather than later. Because I know people were speaking in the chat earlier this week. Pre-season training must start next week.
Well, yeah, you'd think they'd be in at some point over the weekend, maybe, and just to catch up and stuff, and then start in earnest at some point, because it isn't really that many weeks away until we start hitting pre-season friendlies, is it?
I mean, it's not. I mean, first game. I mean, we're in July next week, literally little over a month away. August the 8th.
Yeah. Right. So let's just have a quick off, and actually, in reference to Rob's point here, the randomised fixture computer has given us a curtain-raising away game at Birmingham on a Friday night. It's not bloody random, but B,
of course it's not.
David, is there a tougher match for us first up than Birmingham away, given the momentum, the potential signings that we spoke about? We don't know what they're going to do in the transfer market, and probably more pertinently, 20,000 hammered Brummies on a Friday night after a day on the beer.
20,000 hammered Brummies on the back of a 111-point season. No, we couldn't have had a harder fixture. Honestly, we couldn't. No, we just couldn't. And when it was there was several rumours flying about this morning. You think, no, surely not. I mean, that would be just too pointed. But yeah, it's there. It's happening. We've got to play. We've got to play them away some point. Let's go there, get it out of the way, get a win, make a statement, and move on, I guess. But yeah, it will be a tough one. And as you quite rightly said, on a Friday evening, St Andrews is going to be a bit lively, isn't it? That's for sure.
Yeah. I used the word feral earlier. I don't mean that in any disrespect to, the Birmingham fans, but you can just tell exactly what that atmosphere is going to be like
I
on that
mean, you know, we
first
think
match.
back to that. I hate talking about it. That League Cup semi-final back in the day. I
Yeah.
mean, that was intense atmosphere, wasn't it? Bloody hellfire, that was really, really. So yeah, you'd expect maybe not quite to that level. Flamethrowers on the pitch, something, wasn't it? Not quite that level, but yeah, it's gonna be a lively one, and yeah, we're gonna be tested by that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, what Rich has kindly done for us, and I'll pop it up sporadically during the course of the show, is we've got a list of the fixtures, obviously, but Rich has color coded them.
Oh,
For those
Rich.
a bit more simple
Yeah.
persuasion, in
Yep.
in line with the bookies' odds as they
Oh.
currently stand in terms
Ah.
of promotion and relegation, so we can sort of get an idea of what, in theory, as things stand at the moment, are our easier, shall we say, and more tricky fixtures. We'll have a look at that in a sec. But in terms of highlights, Dave, obviously the obvious ones poke out, don't they? You've got Southampton at home. Southampton at home as our first home
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Let me get that. Will still be getting his team to gel?
Yeah, that's good. Yes, I think that's a good time to play them. I think, don't you? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're very early for them. I haven't noticed who they've got first up, but yeah, a really couple of tough first two out. But yeah, again, another got to play them at home some point. I agree. That's a decent time to play them. They'll still be getting used to Will Still's style. Huh? So, and again, you'd expect some ins and outs from Southampton between now and then as well. I mean, you know, at the moment. I mean, that's even gone quiet about that Tyler Dibbling, hasn't it? I haven't really read anything about him, although
Yeah.
he was being touted at something like 100 million, was it, or something ridiculous up there last? I mean, quite ridiculous. But so there's going to be ins and outs there as well. So, all right, Saints, crikey, yeah, look, Saints. I did see that. Saints against Wrexham again. That's another
Another
fixture
random.
computer. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, right. So yeah, a couple of us at Birmingham and Saints against Wrexham, a couple of really interesting fixtures first up.
Yeah, just a little point here from Norman. Are we showing Birmingham a bit too much respect? Yeah,
Yeah, perhaps so, but I think you've got to. Any team that comes through with momentum like that. I mean, we had momentum.
exactly.
There's momentum. Then there's proper momentum. We didn't even, we finished runners up to Plymouth, for goodness sake. So yeah, you would expect them to carry some of that forward, definitely.
Yeah. Other highlights, obviously, the Norwich game or games.
Yes.
Early October for the home game, and then we don't actually play them away until April. One of 6 matches in April we've got.
Yeah, Norwich games always seems. Although last time, let me think. Last time, yeah, we played them just before Christmas, didn't we? Then I think pretty much away, pretty much the same time, April,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
March, April time, wasn't
Yeah,
it? I
yeah,
think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So even a bigger gap, even a much bigger gap this time. But yeah, you know, obviously we owe them big time. I'm not even going to go into how many seasons it is now. We all know how many it was a couple of seasons ago. I won't even mention that. So we owe them big times. Hopefully, fingers crossed, this season we'll get that long-awaited win against them up the road.
Yeah. One I was going to actually highlight, and Rob has done it for me here. Sheffield United, 13th of September. So we've got them nice and early.
Again.
I think that's the week after the first international break, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
I think the international break's the 6th and 7th, isn't it? That around about
Yeah,
then.
I don't think that's a bad thing either. Just play these teams in transition, new managers, play them early. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. And then probably one that, let's think, will we see Ed Sheeran and Ryan Reynolds at Portman Road together on currently the 22nd of November, Wrexham at home on that day?
Yeah, you would think so. Again, is that, I suppose at the moment they're scheduled for a Saturday. I wouldn't think there's any hope in hell that game will be played on a Saturday. Not at 3:00, I would have thought, would
Well,
you?
yeah, certainly not 3 p.m. on the Saturday.
Exactly. Yeah.
You wouldn't think, no.
No.
Now, here's a little quiz for you then, Dave, and a little hark back to
I missed this.
Exactly, the well-received Rewind show, which may or may not
Oh, you never
appear
know.
again
Even some
this season. Maybe a
little
bit more
cameos.
sporadically. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. We've only played Wrexham once, Dave.
Is that
It
right? What,
was
once ever?
apparently, yeah. I
Really?
had a quick look on TWTD. They do like a head-to-head thing, and it said we played them once in the FA Cup.
Yeah, that was that was that season, wasn't it? But
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
no,
Can you believe it? We've stopped doing the Rewind show. We've still got to talk about that bloody
You can't
94,
get
95.
we can't get away from it. Can't get away
We
from it.
can't.
I think I'm trying to remember the pattern of that game. Did Linnigan equalise fairly late on, and then they went and got a late winner? So it's something like that, wasn't it? That game.
Linnigan certainly scored. We lost 2-1. Linnigan
I know we
certainly
lost
scored.
2-1. Yeah. Is that seriously the only time we've ever played them?
Well,
Wow.
someone just double check it and stick it in the chat for me. But I did check Phil's TWTD head-to-head thingy, and that's all it came up with.
Wow.
Whose last Ipswich Town appearance was
Oh,
made in that game?
Honestly, I've tried to forget that season so much.
Who left us around in the turn of the new year? This season we got relegated to a large London club.
So I said Paz. Who left us?
It was not
Paz.
Paz.
No, it wasn't Dazelle, was it? Oh, Kiwamia.
Correct.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Kiwamia. Yeah.
Chris Kiwamia's last ever match for Ipswich Town was
that
2-1.
really? Wow. Yeah.
2-1 lost to Wrexham.
Didn't he joined up at Arsenal with and they signed Hartson round about that time, I think. I think they did.
Yes, Bruce Rioch, wasn't it, that signed them?
Yeah,
right? Or George Graham.
Bruce Rioch's famous claim to fame was he was the one that signed Dennis Bergkamp, didn't he?
Well, I think that's probably the only claim to fame he had for his period of time.
Probably whilst manager of Arsenal, probably was, but that's not a bad sign. That's not a bad signing to have on your CV, really, is it?
No. And who was number one in the charts, Dave?
Oh, stop it with yourself. No. We've done this before, 94.
We have done this one before. We've spoken about
Cotton Eye Joe.
Think about the time of the year. We've spoken about this guy running over himself in his car, reversing over his own head, I think.
Oh, he's 17. Yeah, Brian Harvey. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Anyway, that's enough rewinding to the rewind show.
We'll be getting told off. Come on.
We'll be getting told off. So let me just quickly get up Rich's hard work for us, just so we can have a look. So people who are watching, you'll get an idea. Apologies for those who are listening after the event. But you can sort of see that the teams in red are those that are more fancied than the teams in white and indeed green. Green are, in theory, those who are towards the bottom of the bookies' odds, if you like.
Shouldn't they be in brown? Anyway, we'll move on from that. Carry on.
Yeah, quite. Well, then as you can see, though, about our start, 1, 2, 3, 5.
Tricky.
Probably, arguably, our three toughest opponents as we sit here at the moment.
Yeah, in the first 5 games.
5 games, yeah.
Yeah, tough. Yeah, again, some interesting stuff in there. You got Bristol City away fairly early, again under a new coach. Norwich, that'll obviously, well, no, not necessarily, because we played them last time. We generally been playing them Saturday lunchtimes, haven't we? Well, we did last couple of seasons, didn't we?
Yeah.
So maybe that will stay on the Saturday.
It'll be an early kickoff. I can't imagine it'll be a Friday night one.
Yeah. There's some interesting stuff there again, but you've got reasonably close together. Portsmouth, Charlton promoted. Be interesting to see how they go. You got obviously QPR away again there. I think they're just about to appoint someone to replace.
They have done, haven't they? French gentleman.
I think they've just appointed someone to replace Fuentes. All in an all white. And what's that month? December, or an all white month in December.
Yeah, that's right. I think once we sort of get a good gauge of where we're at after those first 5 games, from then on in, sort of from Blackburn through to sort of December and onwards.
Yeah, they're more straightforward as you would think. Yeah.
More potentially mid-table-y teams you would as again looking at everything as it stands at the moment.
Middlesbrough's an interesting one. They could go either way, I think. Middlesbrough, yeah, they're quite an interesting one there. But you're going to think Sheffield United are going to be strong again. Obviously Leicester, who knows about Leicester? Strong rumour that Van Nistelrooy's not even going to be there for the start of the season. Well, that's the rumour there. They're in
5 or 6 days time once we hit the 1st of July, don't they?
I think so. They're in a bit of a mess, aren't they? But yeah, Southampton, you'd think, are going to be strong again. Sheffield United are always there or thereabouts. But yeah, looking at that, once you're right. Once you get over, because you see those three fixtures in those first 5 games, and we're looking at early and think, oh Christ, But yeah, once you get beyond that, and you come again, it's a statement. Say you come out of those 5 games with, I don't know, 12 points. That's a proper statement made. There.
Yeah,
and that's
that was going to be my question actually, Dave. Do you want to give us a 26th of June prediction of how many points we're going to get from those first 5 games?
Flipping it. It's just the unknown, isn't it? Birmingham unknown. Yeah, I think 12 might be stretching it. I'll go for the first 5 games. So let's have a look. Perhaps a draw, a win is 4, 3 is 7, 3 is 10.
I won't be holding you to this. There'll be a lot of people.
I'll go 11. There you go. I'll go 11.
There you go, everyone. David has guaranteed us getting 11 points from those first.
Not that you'll hold me to it. Yeah.
5 games. Yeah, I say I won't, but there'll be lots and lots of people that
Everyone will.
In terms of away games, the point that Ashley's made here, the fabled Saturday, Tuesday. We don't actually get our first midweek league fixture until the tail end of September away at Bristol. We all seem to play Bristol City.
Yeah, Bristol City always away midweek.
Yeah. But then I think Chris has mentioned it as well in terms of the midweek away games. There's some Hull. Yeah, they are. They can be, can't they? But then they could potentially all be, couldn't they? But
Watford,
yeah, I think
Watford always midweek away. Seemingly, has been for the you just bet you put your house on it. Yeah, you said Bristol City.
Can we do it on a cold Tuesday night in March at Stoke?
That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing. Yeah. No, it's look. It'd just be nice to get back in this division because everybody wants to stay up, but just to win some games again, Craig.
Yeah.
God, it just became. We were doing the flag show, every weekend, every other week last season. It was just getting, it was all getting on top of us. Really, it really was. Just trying to keep it going. It was really tough. So it'd just be nice to, get some wins, get that good fee, especially at home. I mean, home. Good grief! Considering the previous 2 seasons, we lost 3 home games. Was it 3 home games in 2 seasons? Get that momentum back at home again, and get on a roll, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly, but that is so important. If we were talking about the momentum that Birmingham are going to have with them coming up from below, it's so important that we do the opposite and stop that downward momentum that we've been on for months.
Did they win something like 34 games? I mean, they didn't draw that. I think it was something like ridiculous. Like, would that be right? Is that the math? I think they did. It's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yes, I'd say maybe not the team that we want to be facing first. But yeah, so in terms of any dark horses, David, is anything that particularly tickles your fancy? I say it is difficult at the moment without any transfers sort of coming in.
It is.
But you mentioned Middlesbrough. There's probably more uncertainties, aren't there? We just don't know how. I said earlier how Southampton are going to react to their new manager, how Middlesbrough are going to react, Bristol City, Norwich. I
tell you what, I'll give perhaps a dark horse. Probably Ben will be shouting at me like this, but where Burgess has gone, they seem to be doing some business. Swansea, that's an interesting one. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they're chucking some. Yeah, they're sort of chucking some money at it, making some signings. So perhaps I see them. I see them perhaps having obviously, as some as you said there, having a good go.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Alcatraz at GH has suggested Blackburn. Rob has gone with. I think Rob that they're actually entitled Frank Lampard's Coventry.
Yeah,
but
Rob,
you would
now. You know that.
You would imagine that they'll be strong. And we've got actually little anomaly of the fixtures. We've got them twice in December.
Is that's that fixture, is it?
Yeah, home on the 6th and away just
Yeah,
before
yeah.
New Year.
Yeah, again, you'd expect them to be up there. You know, obviously lost out in the playoffs, but you'd expect them to be up there. Yeah, it's a balmy division, the Championship. We all know it is. You know, season on season, it really is. So, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, Swansea could be one that could come out of say not come out of nowhere, but perhaps challenge, as someone said. They look to be going for it. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And again, other than that, I just see the usual suspects. Really, Sheffield United will be about there, won't they? You'd think Southampton. Birmingham's an interesting one. I think Birmingham is yes, they'll have momentum, but again, unknown quantity. I mean, we had the momentum. I mean, I know we didn't win the division, but the momentum we had in that second part of the season, 15 wins out of 16 or something like that, wasn't it, when we got promotion from League One? But we had the momentum, but still don't think people think we would carry it. We took everyone really by surprise that we carried it through how we did, especially in that early part of the season.
Yeah, that's right. And another one actually is West Brom with Ryan Mason in charge of West Brom. That'll okay. There's quite a lot of intrigue, isn't there? And you know, we say about the Championship's much more exciting and it's much more of a level playing field, but there just does seem to be a few more stories dotted around and a bit more interest from our perspective. We just don't know that you're going into a season with a lot of unknowns as to how a lot of these teams are going to be progressing under their what are an awful lot of new managers.
Yeah, and it's good to see some new. I know obviously Liam Manning was a sort of sideways move. Moved from the same division to Norwich, but good to see people like English managers like Ryan Mason. I know is highly rated as a coach. Getting a chance at West Brom.
Yeah, as Colin's pointed out, he reckons there's going to be 9 new managers.
Yeah, no, I mean it's
the Championship.
Yeah, and even come November, even more, no doubt.
Yeah. Point here from Chris in terms of momentum, and as we've sort of proven in our 2 promotion seasons, the turn of the year, January into February, is a time that we have historically kicked on, and he's suggested that February onwards might be the one. He say it's a very sort of similar looking list of fixtures, February and March, as it is in sort of November and December, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, just thinking when we were last in a couple of seasons ago, we turned Hull over fairly easily. Swansea. That was Swansea. Oh, that was the old Bullet Taylor goal, wasn't it? That was like 2-1 narrow win. Obviously, we won away at Watford. Derby weren't even in the division, but I remember that obviously the game from the great game from the season before, and that ridiculous Chaplin goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. And just a final point here from Neil, who talks not only about midweeks but Christmas. Now, 4 matches in 10 days.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the Championship, Ipswich Town.
Back in the Championship. Look at that. Stoke. Well, Stoke will be a battle, as we know. Leicester away. Sheffield Wednesday. Lovely Millwall away on Boxing Day. Fantastic.
Yeah. But so you go from Millwall onwards. You got Millwall on the Friday, Coventry on the Monday, then the Thursday, then the Sunday.
That's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was looking above that. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, looking down over Christmas and New Year. No, that's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone do the math of the time between Saturday, December the 6th, and Sunday, January the 4th, and the 8 games you've got in between times there.
Yeah, you're back. You're back in the Championship. That's for sure.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. We've had a few people comment in the chat about how we're going to do this season. I think there's understandably a little bit of positivity floating around at the moment. We'll have a little chat in a sec about maybe players that aren't going to be around with us for the season ahead. But as Romeo says there, everyone will be fearing us. They should be, like we saw with the teams this year. The Burnleys and the Sheffield Uniteds to a certain extent. Without pulling up any trees in the Premier League, they found themselves quite accustomed to the Championship without much.
Burnley didn't win about 100 points.
Yeah.
I think the startling fact that Burnley is the concession of 16 goals. I mean, that's just absurd, isn't it? 46 games, 16 goals. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and in terms of their defensive setup, they may well be adding to it sometime soon. And actually, we might as well have a little chat about that in a sec. We'll just have a quick word from our sponsors, and then maybe we'll move on to some news.
Blue Monday is brought to you in partnership with Atwell Solicitors, your ideal legal partner for property and business law. Whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or just need legal guidance, our dedicated team has got you covered. Trust our award-winning customer service team to handle your legal matters with care and expertise. Find out more at atwells.com or visit us at our offices in Ipswich, Colchester, London, and our new location in Woodbridge.
Yeah, so sort of just harking on to your comments about Burnley and their defensive successes from last year.
Mm-hmm.
It would appear there have been reports in the last couple of weeks about Axel Tuanzebe, isn't there, on the radar of various clubs, home and abroad. And it's been reported this afternoon that he's up in Burnley for a medical and due to join newly promoted Burnley back in the Premier League, and obviously from his perspective, a move back up to the northwest. But you can't begrudge him any of that, can you? Really, a chance to play Premier League football again and a chance to move a little bit closer to home. It's really, just sad.
Yeah, really good move for him. Yeah, sad to see him go because again, but one of these players that couldn't really rely on his fitness. I mean, I know he had that ridiculous injury, washing up injury last season, but yeah, fitness has always been an issue. But a quality player, absolute quality player, and nice to think he'll get his chance to get in the Prem. So no great. I know we're in talks with him, but once a Premier League side comes along, you're always going to be struggling there, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. As you say, as long as there's no fairy liquid involved in the medical, he should be fine, shouldn't
he? Yeah, he certainly, when he played last season, when he was fit, he certainly didn't let us down at all, I don't think.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, as Lewis is pointing out here, our defensive stats with him in the team far outweigh them when he's not in the team, sadly. But I suppose it's interesting to know what we do. So, to Romeo's point here, he's gutted to lose it, and he's asking if we need or actually suggesting we do need a new right back.
I think we'll go
Clark
and sign
and Johnson.
I think we'll go and sign a new right back, don't you? It doesn't surprise me. Again, Clark, injuries, can't rely. Johnson. I mean, look, you think Johnson will be good enough at right back in the Championship without a doubt. But yeah, again, Harry Clark. I like Harry Clark, player. We all know wears his heart on his sleeve, so certainly wholehearted, 100% player. But yeah, again, he's unfortunately for the lad, injuries have been an issue for him.
Yeah, I just say it's interesting about Johnson, isn't it? That I have no qualms whatsoever that he'll be held to handle a right back position in the Championship. But he's just been playing that funny sort of hybrid role for us in the Premier League, hasn't he? But I've got no qualms in doing it. But then you don't really, if he gets injured, or maybe we get a bid in for him, who knows? But you don't want to be playing Wolfenden out there or O'Shea out there, do you? You don't want to be doing that in the Championship.
No, I see now. Now it looks like Tuanzebe's going. I really see another fullback, a right back coming in, I would have thought.
Yeah. But no, good luck to Axel. If he does, there's a few people pointing out that Sharon's pointing out here, and Reading Tractor there, that it's not a given that he will pass his medical. He has missed a lot of games for one reason or another for us.
He really has
in the 2 years.
Yep.
I think someone was saying, maybe, forgive me, I may have misread it in the Telegram earlier, but 40% of games he's played or 40% of games he's missed. Either way, it's a chunk of games that he isn't available for, isn't he? But if you're a newly promoted Premier League side, he's worth it on a free transfer to get him
absolutely.
as a squad player, isn't he?
Absolutely right. I mean, with that sort of thumb incident, he missed 2 months, was it? Something like that. A hell of a chunk of games.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yes. Colin and Chris are pointing out that Johnson's easily good enough for the.
I haven't got any qualms about that, and not a hybrid role, playing a proper right back role with, you would think, it won't be Burns to begin with, but Ogbene, if he's fit in front of him, are perfectly adequate, you'd have thought.
Yeah. And then as Colin points out here, 46 games. As we know, Colin, 46 games is a long
marathon
season. Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as Lewis points out here, he's from Manchester. He goes back
Good move.
Yeah, we've got no issue with that at all. And also another little point that came out today is about Omari Hutchinson being on the radar of Borussia Dortmund as a potential replacement for Jamie Gittins. I'd argue that he's a better player than Jamie Gittins.
I think arguably he is. He's in the shop window. This has properly put him in the shop window, and he's been certainly one of England's best players in this tournament, hasn't he? Really, I think actually he's got better and better with each game. He's grown into it really. So he's very much in the European, but Dortmund in the European shop window. So yes, I think how can I put this? Our resolve might be tested with that one at some point.
Yeah, and you think it'd be a very good move for him as well. If you want to go anywhere, then Dortmund's there are worse places to go than Dortmund.
Right age, World Cup next year. Who knows? Who knows how the boy develops? He's got that potential, hasn't he?
Yeah, he definitely has.
Would be a shame because he would absolutely. I think. Oh, I mean, he did last time to a degree, didn't he? But another year on, Premier experience. This furthermore England experience. He would rip the Championship apart, wouldn't he? Next season, absolutely rip it apart.
Yeah, from the turn of the year in our promotion season through to the end of that season, and then, as you say, with a year experience and strength, and just getting a year older, as he's showing in the under 21s, he's showing it, isn't he?
And towards the end, he must have been doing strength training because towards the end of last season, I think we commented on the pod a few times how he was in 50-50. And towards the end of the season, earlier on in the season, he was just getting shrugged off the ball. But towards the end of the season, he was actually shrugging defenders off the ball and shouldering defenders off the ball. So he's obviously done a lot of work, a lot of strength work there. But yeah, again, it's a shame, but it wouldn't be totally unexpected. And as someone just said in the chat, if as the strong rumor is, there is a 35 million release clause. Yeah, that's at this moment in time is probably about right. You think?
Yeah, but as the point here, Neil said, and as Chris is saying here, with regards to, as we found out with the Delap and Manchester City sell-on clauses, it eats into your profit, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. But even from his perspective, you've had a year in the Premier League and you haven't looked out a place in the Premier League from a career perspective. He's, as Romeo's saying here, he's looking a proper player now, and I say someone that won't look at a place in any top division around Europe.
Not at all. He's going to go to you'd think he's going to go to with a bit of luck, stay free of injury, etc. He's going to go at the very, very top.
Yeah. In terms of, I don't think, Norman, Muric will be going back to Burnley. I think they've just signed a keeper, haven't they?
I'm not sure.
I think.
Yeah, but again, maybe they've signed. Yeah, they've signed that with one eye on perhaps someone coming in for Trafford, who is a great keeper.
Yeah. Point here from Michael. Hi to you, Michael. I think a lot depends on who we sign up for midfield and strikers. You're right, and that will allow me to plug the shows that Ben and Joe have done this week. Available earlier this week. They'll still be around. One going through the defensive side of things and the goalkeeper positions, and then the midfield moving into the attack, just a review of the squad and where we see the gaps and bits and pieces like that. So if you haven't seen either of those, then do look them up, because as ever, Joe's done his research and has given his thoughts on where we are and what we need to do to make ourselves stronger for the championship. Sadly, Reading Tractor, that's the issue. Is that we're talking about our best players and where they may end up going. They're going to the teams that you'd think potentially are going to be towards the bottom of the Premier League to make them even even stronger, sadly.
Yeah, I mean, then they're just going to be awash with money, aren't they?
Yeah.
Brentford's a case in point. It looks like Mbeumo will go at some point, but what he's been touted with, was it 65, 70 million? I mean, it's just mind-boggling. It really is. So, yeah, you get something like that from Mbeumo. Well, a club like Brentford can, as someone said there, 35 million is it's a punt, but it is a pretty an easy punt, really, on someone like a Hutchinson.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Well, and Brentford might be, with all things that are happening around Brentford at the moment, are they going to be the one that potentially
that was
slips?
That was an interesting appointment. That really was an interesting appointment. He's obviously extremely well thought of there, extremely well thought of, but
not by Thomas Frank, because he didn't take him to Spurs.
Well, obviously not. Maybe we don't know. Maybe that was part of the. Maybe that was part of the deal. Who knows? But it's seemingly, I've seen one or two comments on our Telegram group, seemingly that one or two people knowing Brentford fans there, as you would expect them to be, suitably underwhelmed. But yeah, he's obviously very thought of internally there.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about Championship managers and how teams are going to react to their new managers. Then, yeah, as you rightly say, Dave, it could be that there's a reaction somewhere at
absolutely. Yeah,
at Brentford. Point here from Tractor Boy MK about keeping Omari, but should he not? Yeah, we can't forget the riches that we do have in all those positions. As he's pointed out here, I will name them: Philogene, Clark, Broadhead at the moment, Chaplin, Ogbene, and Smodic. At the time of writing, are all in our squad, and they are enough. But as you said, Dave, just having Hutchinson there, and it may be that it drags on for a little bit, and we have him for 3 or 4 of those first 5 matches of the new season, because someone doesn't come in, trigger anything until
end of the window. Yep.
End of the window.
Yeah, you'd love him. You would love us to be lining up 8th of August away at Birmingham with Omari Hutchinson in the team, wouldn't you? That would be nice.
Yeah, and Marcus Harness off the bench to score a couple. Save the game for us.
Bless him. Yeah, God, that was a great goal. That equaliser, that swivel volley, wasn't it? What a goal.
Yeah. Brilliant. Right. Well, I think we may have exhausted it. I will just get the fixtures up again just for one last look for everybody, just in case there's anything there that peaks day. Is it peaks day?
You're gonna try and get to most of them. I know you generally do. Is there any?
Yeah, that's the plan. Summer holidays permitting. Obviously, that I'm going to miss Derby, I think, due to summer holidays. But apart from that, I think we're good to go. Already started looking at booking some Morrison supermarket car park spaces for Birmingham City, if nothing else just yet. I think from memory, I did stick it in the Telegram earlier. I think the EFL have said that we will know certainly the first half a dozen matches in terms of TV manoeuvres by the middle of next week. I think it is. So yeah, don't go booking any unrefundable hotel rooms for away games just yet.
I think it's fair to say we're going to be on a lot, aren't we? Especially if we start well as well. We are going to be, fairly well covered. I think. Just looking at that, it's nuts, isn't it? December and January. December and January is crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And you haven't got the FA Cup match in there.
There's a cup match in there somewhere as well in January. It is absolutely bonkers. Look at that. Yeah, the cup match. Cup match in between Portsmouth and Blackburn.
Yeah. So just the 13 matches in those 2 months.
Yeah, with only one red though, so that's good. Yeah, mostly white.
Yeah, maybe we'll get Rich to update the fixture list as the season goes on, and we find out who where teams start to find themselves in the league table. Knowing our bloody luck, we'll suddenly find an awful lot of red towards the end of the there's quite a lot of red at the end of the season, as it is.
To be fair, good grief! Yeah, I just saw that. What a gap between the first 2, and good God, there's almost a full season between those first 2 games and the return fixes. Just noticed that. Wow. Yeah, that's crikey. Yeah, that's an interesting. That's potentially an interesting run in there.
Super. Well, thank you everybody. Thank you for joining. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. It's been great. So we thought we'd jump on, probably get 20 minutes chatting about the fixture list, but we've managed to squeeze 40 out of it. As I said before, do track down Joe and Ben's squad reviews.
Yeah.
Couple of hours worth of content there for you guys. And also as and when anything crops up Ipswich Town wise, we'll be on it. We may well have something on Sunday in any case, just to catch up and round up what's been happening recently, but keep an eye on socials and bits and pieces like that as ever. Thank you to Romeo, and also David, thank you to you.
Cheers, Craig. No, enjoyed that, and even got in a little music quiz as well, so it can't be bad.
Exactly. And we're still obviously talking about what we're going to do next season, but we are looking to increase the number of shows that are coming out. So be tuned and keep your eyes peeled for that.
And I've just got a comment in line with the general comments. Love the tash. Loving the tash. And the kind of people said Murphy's. I've got you as a bit of a Travis Head going on there.
Okay. Well, my boss has taken to calling me Magnum, and I assume it's after Tom Selleck, not the chocolate ice cream.
I assume. Oh, there you go. Yeah, it could be worse. Yeah, there you go.
And on that note, on that bombshell, wonderful. Thank you very much, everybody. This has been Blue Monday, an Ipswich Town podcast. We will see you next time.